Hey everybody, it's Laura with Jot and Tittle Vintage Typewriters. Welcome today to a tutorial I am going to do for a Brother Charger 11. This is a 1980. This is a correction typewriter, but in this instance, I do not have a correction ribbon in this typewriter. Instead, my husband installed just a traditional black red ribbon, but if you can find a correction ribbon, you can put that in. That's probably all they meant, is instead of doing black red, they put in a black correction ribbon. And that's why they called it correction. But really, that's a very specialty ribbon, so you'd have to, I don't even know if they're still available or not, so you can just put a 2-color ribbon in it. Also, let me grab that cover. I forgot to bring it over when I started. So this is an ultra portable typewriter. So you just push that handle down, and then it comes with this plastic cover that snaps over the top. I'm not going to snap it all the way, but excuse me. And then it has the buttons here to release it. It is plastic, so I could see that it would be easily broken, so be careful with it. This typewriter has not been used much. It's in excellent condition, so the case, the top is in excellent condition as well, so be aware if you come across one that there might be a chance that that cover is not in as fantastic condition, but this one is. And if you've got one, get it out and we'll go through it together. Once you take that cover off, you need to flip up your handle like that. And then when you put the cover on, you need to push the handle down. Don't be afraid to push it. So just make sure it's not over the top of your typewriter so you don't chip the paint on it. So even though the cover is plastic, this is metal, which I'm very happy. I'm not a fan of the plastic casings on typewriters, but this one is metal. This is plastic right here. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at everything. There's no paper holder or anything like that on this, but to set your margins, you've got your 2 tabs back here. You just press and drag to set your margins. You have your carriage release on the right side, so it should pull your carriage over to the right, and there's your bell. The bell will sound when you get close to your margin, the right margin that you have set. That's to let you know when you're typing, hey, you are at the end of your margin, and then you just hit your return handle so you could advance to the next line. On the left side is your line selector, so that when you hit that return handle, it's going to advance either 1 or 2 lines. Oh, this has a triple as well, so single, double, or triple option for you there based on your preference. Okay. On the right side, underneath the carriage, is this lever right here, and this is your carriage lock. And what you do is you just kind of center that carriage as much as possible, pull in that lock, and then I just kind of tap the carriage to make sure it's locked in place. And now you shouldn't be able to, whoops, it didn't lock. So you may need to mess around with that to get it to lock into place. You know, it's funny, these will lock when you don't want them to, and they won't lock when you do. So anyway, you'll have to mess with that. That's your carriage lock. Earlier, I was trying to get it unlocked, and it wouldn't unlock, and now I can't get it to lock. So that is where your carriage lock is. Now we're going to look in underneath the cover. But before we do that, I'm going to move that carriage to the left so that the handle doesn't get in the way. And then you just kind of pull this cover off like that. Inside, you will see a universal ribbon. And this is a little bit, the universal ribbons, I think, come in a 2-inch and a 2¼ spool. You probably would prefer, would fit better the 2-inch spool on this one. When you need to change out your ribbon, there are these little metal arms underneath here that you need to pull out, and sometimes you don't notice them, and you're probably gonna be like, why isn't it coming out? Well, you have to, there's a little tab right here, and you can push them out. Same over here, or you can just use your finger And you have to kind of hold them. Oh, well, now that one's got stuck, but you can hold them out and then you can lift up your spool and take it out like that, and then put a new one in like that. Just pop it down. When you put it in, make sure the ribbon comes over the top, around the back, and underneath, and then you'll see this little double barrel thing. It's like a guide wire, and make sure you slide that ribbon in between there on both sides. This also happens to be your manual ribbon reversal. Okay, so let's see, right now it's going this direction. And then when you get to the end, use up all the ribbon on that side, reverse it, and it'll go back through it. There is so much ink in your ribbon, it should last you a really long time before you have to change it out. As far as threading it through the vibrator, every typewriter is a little bit different. And so what I do is I hold this up, and if you need to take a screenshot or something, or pause it and take a look, we'll hold it there like that and see if you can kind of see how we have that threaded in there. And hopefully that will help you. Basically, there are slits in the vibrator, and you have to figure out where those slits are. In this case, yep, there's a few. So you got to come down through the top, and then you got to come up and underneath. There's a back piece that's kind of overlapping, and you kind of slide it in between that back piece, that front piece, and then through. So this one's going to be a little more complicated. Let me see if I can move this. Hold on. Give me some slack here. All right, I'm going to lift it up, and the best way is, I don't know if you can see that or not. Again, pause it if you need to. Take a screenshot. But you'll just have to learn, figure out how to thread that through. Hopefully I didn't get it out. And it's messy, so you'll either want to wear gloves or have something to wipe your hands afterwards. Anyway, that is your ribbon. And again, and then also if you have the original spools and you just want fresh ribbon on it, here is a link. And you can look down below as well and go to our website, and you just order a custom ribbon, and we will, you send us the spools, we'll wind it for you with fresh ribbon and send it back. Okay, so let's take a look down here. Now we've got it popped back in there. Here is your color selector. You'll see it's black, silver, and white. Now, since we don't have a correction ribbon in this typewriter, the white would be the correction part, and that would be the one that's on the bottom. So when you thread this, if you have a correction tape, it would be black on top, correction on bottom. If you're doing a black-red, black on top, red on bottom. And so here's your black setting. Silver is your stencil setting. It won't type. The vibrator doesn't move on the stencil setting. And then the white, in my case, is the red setting. All right, let's go ahead and load some paper. We'll do it this way. I'm using a used piece of paper. Actually, before we do it, let me show you this. I typed already so you can kind of see the font. It looks really good. I like it. All right. Thread that through. Make sure your paper goes underneath the metal bar. Nice and even, so I don't need to adjust it. If I did, here's my paper release right here, and the paper release pushes back and not front. Paper release, makes it so you can kind of adjust things and then pull it forward, and there you go. All right, so let me do a couple of lines for you, and I'll show you the Brother Charger is very basic. The only thing on here is a margin release and a backspace. Okay, so here's your backspace. Remember, backspace does not erase, it just backspace. When you make a mistake, if you had made a mistake and you have got a correction tape in here, what you would do is you would backspace. Let's say that D, I made a mistake and did something I shouldn't. And you would move your selector to the white, which would be the correction, and then you would just hit that same letter again. And it's the same thing as a correction tape. If you're old enough and you bought correction tape at the store, I think they still make them. But that is how you do it. You just type that same letter over your mistake and then go back, and it would just be white, and then you could retype over that area, but make sure you move your selector down to black. So that's the difference on correction, how you would use the correction tape on a Brother charger. In this case, we're just going to type this line again, but in black. Very, very nice typewriter. If you get to the end of your, there's your margin. It's going to stop on you when you get to your margin, and you want to hit your margin release. End of line. Anyway, that is your margin release and your backspace. Now, if you're hitting your margin release after every single line, you don't understand the purpose of a margin release. You need to set that margin where you're comfortable, listen for that bell, hit that return handle when you hear that bell, and only use that margin release if like you're in the middle of a word when that bell goes off and it's a long word and it's going to stop on you. So anyway, that is the basics of the Brother Charger 11. I hope this is helpful for you. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.